Hey, welcome to another Valley Forged. This is a video for anyone who might have or is thinking about purchasing the riser base and the R7 Conveyor for the Ikier Master, which I have behind me right there. There's quite a bit of info you are not going to get anywhere else currently, probably at some other point. But if you were thinking about getting them or you have them, this is a great place to start. I will also be testing it all and showing you all of that and giving my thoughts and my likes and dislikes and anything you might want to think about later in the video. But right now what we're going to get to is the basics. As for the unboxing and assembly of the machine, they already have a video on that. I am going to put a link below. It's not very difficult. It's something they can show better than me. Just a simple unboxing and assembly. Once it's put together, though, we're going to go from there. So considering, say, yours looks just like mine does here, you've got it assembled. You got to put the machine on the base. Now, luckily for all of us, the Master is much lighter than most CO2 lasers. In fact, it seems like a lot of all-in-one diode lasers as well. I mean, it's not light, but I was able to do this by myself. So being able to put this up on top of the riser base, and now you're going to install the conveyor. I put the conveyor in first like this, and then I plugged it in. As you can see here, you might not know, actually, let's go back to that. You might not know that there is a plug down here. You really can't see it until you look, but go to your regular plug-in for your computer and then look down and you will find this. Now this goes over the instructions for setting up with AtomStack Studio, I believe, which I don't use, so that's probably pretty simple in their own software. But then we're going to go over the LightBurn as well. And I think this is very important because it may not be as simple, and it's very, very important for everybody to know. So here in LightBurn, you're going to go up to this wrench setting, and it's device settings here. Now, pay attention to this. You're going to change the height. Now, I changed mine to 750. It says it's 800, so you can go to 800. I was just being a little safe on it and went to 750 to give me a little extra space. Not, I guess you get less space, but just margin of error. And then you're going to see something like this. But the important thing that I didn't know is you got to go to the rotary. So if you didn't see that, go back to where it says rotary setup, which is counterintuitive. You think it's a conveyor, but it does use the rotary setup. And you're going to change it to roller. Very important, because this won't even pop up right unless you do that. You see put it on A axis, which it might already be on, and change this to 13 millimeters. But wait, there's more. Okay, so over here, you want to change it to current position. And as we're going to go over later in the video, you're not going to hit the home button. So make sure it's not home on start and all that kind of thing. You're going to use the current position, which is pretty easy with the screen. You just move it over to whatever position you want. Hit the autofocus button. You're pretty much ready to go from the position it's at. And make sure the job origin is where it needs to be. See right here, it says Master. This is my normal one for the Master. Well, this is my one for the conveyor. So all I had to do was go to my regular configuration file, and then I said duplicate. And then I got another one, and I changed this one to those settings I showed you earlier, and then just renamed it conveyor. So now I can go back and forth. So literally the only thing I need to change is the focus. So I just, take the plate off, change the focus back up, which I'm going to have to refocus anyway. You always do. So you could literally leave the conveyor in. You could still run everything as you normally would. Just unplug it, of course, from the, from the accessory so it doesn't think you're still using the conveyor. So again, pretty simple, and you could just leave it. And now you have the ability to do larger or smaller things all the time and not have to switch back and forth. Something that isn't mentioned in that video is how does it focus all the way down to the piece of material. Now, normally, if you've got it set up without the riser base, it's not going to go that far all the way down to where the conveyor is. So what you do here's a picture of it. What you're going to do is you're going to take one of the Allen wrenches supplied that you usually use to clean the lens. Well, what you're going to do is loosen that up, and you're just going to move that down to the bottom. And so now it's going to have plenty of space to go down and focus normally on the material you use. So that's a very important thing to know, something I didn't know when I first got it. But once I got that figured out, we're going to show you just how awesome it worked. Very, very simple. Very, honestly, a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. It did take me changing the way I thought a little bit. Once you get used to it, it's very simple. In fact, the first project I did was this surfboard. I will put it up. One thing I noticed is I'm using LightBurn, and a lot of you might be, and it works perfectly in LightBurn. I didn't have any issues, but as far as, sometimes the interface between LightBurn and different things may not work. Well, this worked perfectly, but what I first tried to do is I tried to do each layer individually. So I tried to do the engrave, and then once it was finished, I turned the engrave off and turned the cut layer on. And when I did this, I'll show you what happened. It didn't exactly line up. Now, it made arguably a better looking surfboard. It just depends on what your flavor is. I mean, look at both of them. But that wasn't intended, so it was just kind of a happy accident. But once on the second one, as you see, I just turned them both on and did it like you normally would for a job. I was just being extra careful since it was the first thing. In case something was going wrong, I didn't want to do the cut too. But when I turned them both on and just ran it on another piece of wood, worked flawlessly, no issues whatsoever. So the only issue I actually ever had was when I hit the home button, and it just ran the conveyor all the way to the back. And I just didn't do that again because I'm using current position. There was no reason to, and it worked fine after that. One thing is you are going to use extra room, and so we're going to start going into like using this. My next project, other than the surfboards, is like here, I'll show you over with the camera. Actually, I'll just show it to you on a picture. It'd be easier. I'm making a whole case and everything for an Ikier K40. So it's this is a big machine. And the vent hole is in the back. Well, I don't have enough space for the vent hole in the back. I needed to put it on the side. And so these huge pieces of acrylic, I needed to cut a hole in it so that I could vent it out the side. Well, it just so happens that I had just set up the conveyor, and literally this piece of acrylic would not have fit inside the bed of the Master. So had I not had this set up, I wouldn't have been able to do it. So what I did is I used the conveyor, and I actually cut out the 4-inch hole I needed for my vent. Man, I mean, if you have a Master, you just know it. The cutting for acrylic is just so clean. First shot, just done perfectly. Could not. It feels like you use one of those glass cutters or something. It's just so perfect. And so that is one of the real reasons for getting this conveyor. For a CO2 laser, you can do the acrylic where you can't with the diode. So even if you have a huge, K40 like I'm setting up here, I still can't do clear acrylic like this. There's just no way. So like they showed in the video, you could do huge pieces of acrylic. I don't really think there's many other ways to do that without just getting a huge laser. So yeah, let's get into the good and the bad and all that kind of stuff for this. As I was mentioning before, there are just some things you can't do on a standard bed, a lot. And say you have a laser business. Well, this is going to take you to a level that most people can't do, right? You're not going to see a lot of that out at markets or things because 99% of the people don't have a laser big enough to make these items. So it does differentiate you, or if you want to make gifts for the family or whatever, you can make big signs. You can make things that, you just can't do with a standard laser bed. The assembly was surprisingly easy. This is my first visit to Conveyor Land. They came out with them years ago, and every time I looked at actual people that would actually use it, which is what I always tried to do, they always, talked about it, but then you never saw it again. And I looked into it, and it just seemed like you needed a lot of space, and there was just a lot of reasons, which we're going to get into with this, that it just didn't make sense for me. Now this one, the setup was super easy. Everything worked just as I told you before. As long as you follow this video so far, you're going to be able to make great things. So kudos for making this process fairly simple. Again, as long as you follow all the things that I just told you. So what are the negatives? I just want everybody to be fully informed as much as possible. If you're used to using LightBurn and absolute coordinates, it's going to take a little bit of changing your brain. You're used to hitting the home button and then doing the framing and all this stuff. To get that kind of out of your head, because you're using absolute coordinates, so you're actually just moving the laser head. Again, super, super simple with this machine because of the screen. And then you're hitting the focus button anyways. So that it's just super normal, but you got to change your mentality. And once I did that, it really worked pretty simple from the beginning. I'm not one to overhype things, so when I say it was pretty simple, it's pretty simple. And I think the thing that's really important is, do you have to set this up and take it down every single time you want to use a conveyor, or you don't? And what I've found is if you do it the way that I've set it up, you could pretty much just leave it the way it is. Now you would just have to take out the conveyor because the riser base itself has some plugs on the ends. And so you could pretty much just leave it like that. And then if you want to put a rotary in there, that's fine. I don't use rotaries, so that's why you're not seeing it in this. But this would also be necessary for the rotary. So your biggest issue really with leaving the conveyor in all of the time is the smoke. And that's the elephant in the room. You're going to hear that on all the videos of every conveyor I've ever seen. It's like, how do you control the smoke coming out into your shop if you have to leave that space open all of the time? And I did come up with a solution. I was able to just I just took some foam and I made some, space closures for the places that I could tell a wood or the conveyor would never hit. So I blocked that up. Now I was thinking you could also cut something and then just cut little slits like a broom, so the things can move back and forth across the wood or whatever. And so it would keep it blocked, but then when it came through back and forth, then it would close itself and open it. This is perfect for somebody who's DIY, or maybe you do 3D printing, but for me, it wasn't hard. I used a pair of scissors and some two-sided tape, and I just put this together myself. Just because I didn't want to, if I'm going to use the conveyor, I'm going to use it, and I don't want to have to take it down and put it up. I have my own air system that I use on every single laser that I have. I don't think that the air fan that comes with the Master is going to be able to push out enough air for you to be able to leave the conveyor open and not have it have smoke going out into your environment. Now, I personally recommend having an extensional, see, my air is outside, actually. I have a blower that's outside of my shop, and it sucks the air from whatever laser I'm using outside. And I personally feel that's the best way. It has I'll put a link up for the one I use, but it pulls all of the air out. It works great. It's pretty much, 99% of the smoke goes out from the conveyor, and it works great. Now, could you do that with, the stock one? I don't think so. It's quite a bit of air hole that you're dealing with. But this is perfect for a DIY person to be able to kind of just check out and figure out how they can do it and just leave the conveyor in all the time. The slat bed actually still fits in with the conveyor. So you can still, as long as you change the focus back to where it was, that would be the only thing you need to do is change your configuration file. The reasons to buy this, vice just having it, or even having two lasers. I mean, you could have a K40 Max, you could, and the Master, but then you're going to have a lot of space. It's going to take up a lot of space. So if you want to have one laser that does everything, having this conveyor makes a lot of sense. Especially if you want to do larger pieces of acrylic. You just not going to be, I said that before, you're just not going to be able to do that on a diode laser. So either you're going to have a humongous CO2 laser, or you're going to have this in the conveyor. That's just kind of what you got. Now, I would not suggest this for home use unless you are just, somehow really, really good at keeping the smoke out, or you've just got an insane smoke blower that's just gonna it's just going to exhaust all of that smoke from anything. And maybe 500 CFM or something like that might be able to do it. But if you've got a shop and you do it the way I did, I think you're going to be in pretty good shape. Like I said again, it was all pretty simple. This is my first time. I'm telling you, just like I would through my journey, and I was able to make some pretty cool things pretty easily. But I am by no means an expert at this. I've just been using it for about a few days, and I've got it set up right. It's working for me, and I'm enjoying it. So like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff, and I will see you in the next one. Love y'all.